Welcome to another video, guys. Today's video, this is probably going to be the last video on the daily here. Toyota Camry 99 that I picked up. If you guys haven't seen the other videos, I picked this up as a daily. And, you know, I've been showing you kind of what to look for, what to really repair to get it running good, clean the interior, things like that. So in this last video, I'm going to throw some paint on it just because the paint on this wasn't that great. So stay tuned.
Music bed.
The first thing to paint a car now, if you pick up a daily and the paint is good, you don't have to paint it, obviously, right? But it's not going to be probably as cheap as, you know, something like this. So I already went ahead and took the taillights out, you know, some of the emblems, and then I also scuffed this. So 600 grit paper, sandpaper, you want to give it a good scuff to make sure that the new paint sticks to it pretty good. Now, for any kind of paint, the big part of it is the prep. So, you know, this obviously is not really a video if you're gonna paint a nice car, because you're really, you know, like my car over there, for instance. I spent about 3 days so far just kind of sanding this and putting some filler. You know, doing the primer, maybe 4 days with the primer. And that's not done. I mean, I probably need to spend a whole nother week, you know, sanding more, filling, sanding until it looks great. Because that's where the big part of the paint process is the prep. So if you just, you know, if you don't take time with the prep, paint's gonna show every little imperfection. Now with this, I just wanna paint it so it looks nicer than it does. Or than it did. So I'm just scuffing it. I did put a little bit of Bondo here. I had a couple of holes here on this part of the bumper just to kind of fill them a little bit. I sanded a little bit more where the clear coat was peeling on top, but not too much. Like here in the hood, it was pretty pitted, and I sanded some, but I'm not gonna spend like a couple hours doing it. Because I'm going to use it every day. It's probably going to, you know, start getting chips here on the front. Front headlights, they were kind of difficult. I think you have to take the bumper off. I'm not too sure, but I'm just going to mask these and paint it. So, you know, anyways, 600 grit, give it a good scuff, and then just get some paint. Now the other reason I'm painting it is because I had this paint left over from previous, you know, projects. So I got some gray and blue. I mixed it. I even put some of the pearl I had left over from the Celine. I have pretty much all the materials to paint it. It's gonna be a little bit darker than this because I added more blue, so I have more paint. But this is kind of the color that it's gonna be once it's painted. So, you know, kind of like a blue. But anyways, this is something that you can do at home, and I'm gonna use this paint gun, which is the first paint gun I ever got. This was from Walmart. This kit back probably 15 years ago or longer. I'm gonna say probably 20. So right now it's not gonna be, this cost me about $40. I'm sure now they're a lot more than that. Just like everything nowadays, it's way more expensive. But just to kind of show you that, you know, you can go to like Harbor Freight, pick up one of their inexpensive guns. And I mean, you know, you can paint decent with this. So I'm going to use the bigger gun here, which I use plenty of times. You know, I still use all these cleaning pieces. This little regulators work pretty good. So I'm going to use this. You at least probably want like a 16-gallon compressor. I do have this 60-gallon, which is it just works really well. But I used to have a small one. I think if you see some of the old videos, that one used to work pretty good. I think that one was like a 16 that I had. So anyways, it's all scuffed up. I got some, what I used to clean my car before paint is just Palmolive dish soap. This stuff takes all wax and everything off pretty much. So I already got it mixed here in the bucket. I'm gonna pretty much wash the car with that really good, let it dry, and then I'm gonna mask it. So I probably won't, I might put in time lapse washing it, but after that, let it dry, and then I'm gonna mask it. That's another thing that takes a little bit of time. I'll hit it with some wax and tar remover, which I have in here. And this you just kind of put it on a towel and then wipe the whole car. And then we're gonna spray it, just see what it comes out. So let's get started. went ahead and finished the masking. So just use, actually I use O'Reilly Auto Parts flyers here and then newspaper. I do have the 3M plastic that I use normally when I mask a car. And so I just thought it'd be easier. I cover the engine because a lot of times that overspray gets all over the engine. It just makes it look kind of weird. So, you know, I just did one piece. You know, I taped around the edges, and then the windshield, just all the windows, sunroof. This part I am gonna paint inside here, but I'm not gonna do door jumps or any of that. So, and just I threw some in there on the holes so the paint don't go in, but pretty much it's good to go. I just put some mosquitoes there. Put some kind of old towels I had on the wheels, and we're good to go. So next we're gonna get some paint mixed, and you know, you just gotta follow the directions on the paint you buy. You can probably buy cheap paint. I mean, I don't know, right now it's kind of expensive, but there's places out there that have like a single stage paint that's not too expensive. But quite honestly, I haven't really gone to the paint store the last, you know, year probably, so things are a lot more expensive. I know like some erasing has the pre-packed colors that are not too expensive, but you can look into that. But let's get that mix and see what it looks like. All right, so the next step is gonna be I'm gonna spray the wax and tire remover. Well, not spray it. What you do is just put it on your towel, and then you wipe the whole car. Pretty much, you know, all the surfaces you want to catch with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that next. After the wax and tire remover, what I'm gonna do now is mix up paint. Each paint's different, so you gotta follow. This one's 8 to 1 to 2. So I gotta measure here, mark here on the mixing cup where I gotta, which, because it has a bunch of different formulas, so I'm gonna, you know, just make sure I use that one. I'm gonna mix up the paint, and then right before you spray, you want to get yourself a tech cloth. These are a couple dollars. You can buy them separately like this one. And then just go over the whole car, and that's just going to get any pieces of trash, hair, you know, anything out of the actual panels. I don't have a paint booth, so, you know, overspray is going to be the big issue with this, but I'm going to start. I have a couple fans that I'm going to turn on to try to push air that way, hopefully coming in from this side. So I'm gonna spray, you know, from this side to that side. So I'm gonna start with the roof. I'll start here, make myself that way, and then I'll go on the other side and spray, you know, from the other way, finish it to the other side, and then I'll probably come back and start on the back, spray this way, you know, get the hood, and then get the other side. If you have a paint booth, I mean, it really doesn't matter because they have the big extractor and all the, you know, the overspray gets sucked out. But if you paint your garage, if you just kind of let everything linger, it's going to eventually settle down on top of the paint, and that's what's going to give it that dull kind of look, because all those particles are just eventually going to come down on it. If we can get most of that out, that's the best thing. And also not so much air pressure. I usually keep about 30 pounds at the gun, you know, when it's spraying. Roughly that's kind of what most guns do, maybe even a little bit less, 25, 30 or so. But I'll probably kind of spray on one of the papers there or one of those boxes just to see my pattern first, and then go from there. I'll probably just set you guys down, time lapse. I'm gonna put a bag over the camera because a lot of times those particles get over everything. I don't want my camera to get painted, so it might start getting foggy, but we'll see what happens. All right, so it's been a couple hours since I sprayed the paint. It's semi-dry. I mean, it's still, you know, it's not like sticky, but if you hold your hand there for a minute, it'll still stick. So I was just taking some of the tape off, especially around the window. So where, you know, usually where you mask somewhere that's the paint is right against it, you want to peel the tape off, because if you let it dry, sometimes it's really hard to peel the tape, or sometimes it tries to peel the paint off the car. So you want to take the tape off pretty soon after you spray it. But overall, it came out pretty good. You know, there's a little bit of an orange peel to it, not too much. Overall, I mean, you can see good reflection. You know, it looks pretty nice. So once it dries a little bit more, I did paint the tire a little bit, but once it dries more, I'll finish, you know, taking all the masking off, and then I'll get out in the sun and show you guys what it looks like out in the sun. But overall, it looks pretty good. You know, it's just gonna be a nicer looking little car now. Again, this is paint that I had here, so I didn't really spend, you know, money. I just the time to spray it, but not too bad. Let me finish this up. I'm gonna just, you know, sweep the garage, get my old car in and the other car, and then once it dries more, probably this afternoon, I'll pull it out and then show you guys what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like out in the sun. Very nice. Has a good flake to it. That pearl that I added from leftover from the Celine really makes it look nice. Got the tail lights on and emblems on there, glued. So it's a nice color. Has a good pearl to it. You can see with the sun. You know, good reflection. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but I can see myself. Little bit of orange spill, but not too bad. No more than kind of what a lot of factory vehicles come with, really. Overall, you know, it makes it look a whole different car, right? Just a little bit of paint, you know, a little bit of time. I didn't even take too much time to sand it. I pretty much just threw the paint on there. So obviously, if you have a car that's a project, you want it to look super nice, spend a lot of time on your sanding and prep, and they'll make it look way nicer. But even if you don't do too much of that, like, you know, like example here, you know, fresh coat of paint makes any car look absolutely great. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, leave a thumbs up. Any comments, questions, leave them below. We'll see you in the next one.